Hola chicos, en este video voy a explicar cómo hacer el guía de hoy. So if you were in class and you got this worksheet, in this video I'm going to explain how to use the worksheet, and we're going to be working on the learning target of being able to conjugate all our verbs, as well as a learning target of being able to work with our vocabulary in real life context. So some of these I'm going to breeze over because we did do them in class. Some of these I'll give you a little more help with because I know you're working on them independently. So the first one is at the bottom of each page, you'll see it'll say 4.5, 4.7, etc. We're looking at 4.5 to start with. At the top you see activity E. It looks like this: correct any false statements. We did this in class and that's exactly what you need to do. If it's false, correct it. Not false, don't worry about it, okay? I'm just showing you on eStudio, not because you need to do it on eStudio, but rather because that's the biggest way for me to show it on the screen, okay? So that's that one, activity E. Then we'll go to activity F. It's on the same page. Take the word and write a sentence with it. Give as much information as possible. So that's kind of thinking along the lines of the difference between a 3 and a 4. You want a 4, right? So give as much detail as possible. Don't just say, oh, okay, él toma leche. Awesome, great sentence. It's grammatically sound, but maybe say, cuando tiene sed, él toma leche. Or él toma leche de chocolate en un vaso. I don't know. Add some detail, okay? Be creative. You just have to use those words. If you would like to use a different conjugation for those words, that's okay with me. All right? So then now I'm on what says page 4.7. That's actually going to be vocab 2, lesson D. And you are putting the events in order. So they're out of order. So you're going to write on the dashes whether that's 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. Okay? A, B, C, D. That's pretty straightforward. You have a sequence of events, put them in order. That activity E, I always get a lot of questions when I look at this activity. So the first thing I want to remind you is to read the instructions. Instructions say, complete the conversation. So then right away you know, oh, it's a conversation. Well, who's having the conversation? We have our mesero. If you don't know what a mesero is, better get your vocab out. We have Anita and we have Tomas, okay? So a lot of students say, well, I don't know what to put here. Well, let's think. If a waiter and a client or a patron at the restaurant are having a conversation, what are some things they might say? They might say, oh, hi, what would you like? Or they might say, oh, do you have, I don't know, a dish that's gluten-free, for example, okay? Or they might ask for a specific food or specific spice or a specific beverage, right? Do you have Pepsi? Maybe you like Pepsi over Coke. I don't know. But just think, as long as it's contextualized and makes sense, there are lots of correct answers for this. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't do it as an eStudio activity, because I knew there would be kind of that doubt. So there's lots of answers for this. Think it through, okay? Now, if she says, tiene usted, do you think she's talking to the mesero or Tomás? That's a question for you to think about, okay? If she's out to dinner with Tomás, how familiar is she with him? Does she know her waiter? Those are some questions for you to think about, okay? So that was activity E. I'm going to skip on down to activity D, and that's going to be a grammar one, I believe. Here we go. So you're going to answer each question. When we answer questions, the biggest thing is that we have to ask ourselves, who is verbing in the question? Who needs to verb in the answer? So let's look at number 1. ¿Qué comes? Comes is the form for tú. And we know, because if you're in class and you look way back there, I hope you can see our question chart, you know that when the question's about you, you should answer about I. So you're going to say, when I'm hungry, I eat, I don't know what it is that you eat, okay? Now here we're talking about ustedes, which is y'all. So if I say, what do you guys drink when you're thirsty? Then that's right, you should say, we should say we drink whatever, okay? Remember our practice, we're putting the question in the answer. So make sure all your buddies have a buddy in the answer somewhere, okay? So as you're attacking the questions, you have the luxury of taking as much time as you need. Have your vocab out. Have your dictionary handy, wordreference.com. You know that's my favorite, okay? So make sure that you're giving yourself the resources to complete the activity successfully. Don't just look at it, get intimidated because it's longer than 5 words and give up. That's not going to help, okay? So that's my advice for that one. The next one, you are just creating sentences. So again, you always want to read the instructions. Make up sentences using elements from each column. So here we have subjects that you can choose from. Can you mix them up? Sure, I don't care. We have verbs, and then we have what we call predicate or the extra details. So you might say, yo vivo aquí. I live here. Okay, obviously, it has to make sense. You don't eat a television, okay? So mix them up, whatever you want to do. If you want to add extra words and make it better, perfect. If you want to change some of the options for the predicate, I'm okay with that, all right? So that's letter E. And then finally, you have this integración. So you're kind of reading and looking at verb forms. So attack this reading with the same strategy you would attack any other reading, okay? You do the highlighting thing we do, identify those proper nouns, identify vocab we know, and then I want you to make sure that you write a number next to each line so that when we go over the answers in class, down here, you can tell me, oh yeah, I found that on this line or in this paragraph, whatever, okay? When you answer questions, make sure you always answer in a complete sentence. I never ask for anything less, okay? So if you have any other questions, shoot me an email, and if not, we'll see you next class, okay? Good luck. Bye.